multiple tank. You can't just go in on a target.
I mean, NiP outmaneuvered Cyclones completely, well, Cyclowns, should I say, completely on last time they played this one map. But we see that, you can see, yeah, Fragi a little bit uncertain about coming forward. He got completely chucked down very early in that fight.
That's
now NiP.
For you.
Yeah, that's rough, man. That's super nasty. Have they got a pick here, though? That's the question.
Yeah, the Discord orb on him, but he's not falling that weak, actually. hymzi's doing a great job at just trying to relieve pressure, but he's actually so close to being demeched as well. They're getting a decent engage here. They're actually getting through the doorway without taking too much damage, and they've traded a couple of kills. So things aren't too bad here for NiP, but they're still struggling to get through the doors and move around the right.
Pulse Bomb now out on towards the shield, and Fragi gets caught by it somehow. That should be the opening for Rogue to now get these interlopers out of their temple, soon to find a second. Zuppehw and Fragi being down, the rest of NiP, it's a sheepish backward walk, tail between the legs style.
And Rogue has seen what NiP likes to do, so they're not giving them the space. They're denying them.
Denying that side room, right?
Yeah. They're giving them no space at all, and let's see what NiP can come up with.
This was the map that eUnited were able to take away from Rogue, but Rogue didn't look that bad either. It was an incredibly close map between the two of them. Rogue looked excellent on the attack, so NiP in shaky territory if they're not able to do anything here on their attack. Still 2.5 minutes left. They got the ultimates to work with as well, but they don't really want to pop some portals just to get through the door, and that's not going to help either.
zappis was supposed to be the instigator in the backline, taking a little bit of attention away from key players like Fragi, but instead he gets fragged out immediately. High ground, AKM doesn't even bother to go for attack fires. In that case, he knew the one kill would be enough to stop NiP again in their tracks.
Got to wait for him now. 10-second spawn, see if he can reconnect with the rest of the team. A little bit longer to get him in position again. They can see if they can broach the checkpoint, but here comes the nano boost.
That's right, we saw the Earthshatter coming out. That was perfect timing, the bubble come down exactly when it had to, and another failed Earthshatter from Fragi, and KnOxXx is just in his head. Nicely played out from that man. He, of course, benefited from the nano boost, but there's a Transcendence still remaining for winz on the Zenyatta, by the way, which is not something we see every day, I should mention. Soon as well, working around the side. zappis struggling to find any space to work in. Zuppehw finds winz at the very least, but there's a pulse bomb here. mafu needs to make good work happen with his tack, but he gets blocked out. A lot of it, at least gets the D-suit.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to pick up the baby D.Va as well with the help of zappis. They actually got a huge amount of value out of that one. Finally broke through after they'd taken a couple of picks over to the right-hand side, just burst through the front door. And 1.5 minutes left in their time bank. They're going to get additional time here as well, but that was reasonable play from NiP, I think.
That looked really good for Rogue. They got key ultimates out, but Zuppehw managed to get a really key pick on winz there, who had the Transcendence, so they snowballed from there.
Yeah, of course. winz on that Zenyatta. In fact, he's played it before, actually. I believe there's one map, though, back when he used to play Zarya, he actually flexed onto Zenyatta for whatever reason. The game was different then, but again, he's probably enjoying a little bit more here, but he's vulnerable. He needs to be aware of that. And NiP, especially, I think Zappa's got 3 kills while we're watching mafu with the tack visor as well, so that was very crucial.
Aiming to take top right here with Fragi. They're not really going to contest them, Rogue, waiting until they get a little further down to actually collapse on them. But they've got a lot of mobility with KnOxXx and NiCO just to apply a lot of pressure still. This D.Va's going to come in handy.
And NiCO would just love nothing more than to put Fragi in a lose-lose situation, right? Turn around and shield my exploding mech, or shield the damage coming at you. You can't have both. And that's very nasty for NiP, especially with the way that they're set up here. They need to be careful and not let him get behind them.
NiP still setting up position. They want to try and deplete a couple of resources over on Rogue and also generate ultimates themselves, but Rogue are generating their ultimates way quicker. They've got 5 on the board and KnOxXx is close to his. This is going to be a full party.
That's a self-destruct in the backside there as well. Fragi needs some healing, but no one's there to do it. Zuppehw finally returns now, knowing it's safe to come out of hiding as the explosion is done. No one's fallen on either side yet. Fragi is low, but he's been slowly healed up, so that was a D.Va ult to little avail. Now the Transcendence is being forced out, but it doesn't matter. mafu goes down regardless. KnOxXx combining well, and of course it was a beautiful Bionade from uNKOE to secure that one. If I'm not mistaken, he was Transcendence up, and now KnOxXx is just going to juggle the juggler, so to speak. And NiP are going to be forced out.
I don't think NiP are going to be too bothered about that, though, because on that push, it was just a single push. They committed, what, a couple of ultimates to it, including Zappis's Pulse Bomb, and Rogue had to invest quite a lot just to hold on.
Yeah.
You know, they only have 2 left now, and uNKOE is going to be pretty fast to charge the Nano Boost as well, but NiP have an opportunity here, a window.
Yeah, for sure. I would like to see them speed mid with Lucio and go out late with Zenyatta Soldier top right. see if they can make something happen.
I think Rogue not giving him any room to breathe at all. Nox has already jumped on top of him now, and the Transcendence as well is going to make this that much easier. But TakeTV needs to be responded to. You can see how quickly, desperately, Nox is trying to get to grips with mafu and prevent this damage coming out. But he can't really. winz had already fallen before the fact, and now AKM is playing shield shooting simulator, and Fragi just bops him over the head for his audacity to even challenge.
NRP are getting a really great exchange here, but it's still difficult. They've got 2 ticks, but these spawners are going to be coming in thick and fast. And Rogue have been pretty good at delaying so far. NoxXx really good at being able to stay alive. Zuppehw keeps his team alive as well with the Transcendence of his own, but mafu's still up there just peppering damage into everybody with his soldier.
And I mean, the mental bandwidth of Rogue right now is 2 tacks to go up and deal with him, at least the way it seemed. But AKM found him across the map with a Helix rocket. That's brilliant. Now he's been neutralized on that high ground. We're hearing so many of these meat shots. It's great. hymzi just slapping people around the head, and it was soon to fall that time. zappis gets a decent on NiCO. Back to the Mega, and that might be enough. 2/3 for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Soon making plays on the point.
Man.
It looked really good. I mean, hymzi was not even blocking the soldier, but Fragi did the exact same job as the D was supposed to do. He was in the face of the attack visor, blocked most of it. They had the positions, but then soon was left unnoticed, and he managed to snowball the fight and kill the Zenyatta.
They didn't even invest all of their ultimates to be able to take that. That was kind of just throwing bodies into it and seeing if they could come up with a decent end result. The bonus for NIP, though, is that they have 2 ticks already, and zappis nearly just stole another half away. They only really need to get 1 good fight here, and they've got it.
Oh my god, NoxXx is keeping 3 players from Rogue occupied. Both supports and AKM are at his mercy. He's going to jump out now as well. He was hoping to secure the Mega first, I think, but it's not going to be possible. mafu wants to try and walk through the door, but guess who's back? It's NoxXx. He does go down eventually. The bubble will obviously help him, but mafu couldn't do too much trying to walk in. So selfless from NoxXx. He's low, didn't even get the Mega, and still jumps on mafu to stop him from fragging out.
He's an absolutely great Winston as well. It's been a fantastic transition for him, moving over from the Lucio to the main tank role for this team. IP forced to use it. Oh, that's a great Earth Shatter, though, from Fragi. Catches AKM just as he was coming up top with the Nano Visor, and both ultimates were actually used before he died as well.
I'm pretty sure, though, they hit AKM with the kitchen sink on the way through, but it don't matter because NIP have managed to capture this point. Started off getting 2/3 and then a nice completion. AKM could have gutted them there.
That was so key from Fragi. So key. And AKM, is he going to expect a Reinhardt walking up behind him, high ground
from
and
that.
shattering? That's insane.
Oh,
well
man.
played.
All right. 2 points were gained there by NIP, and in fact, if I'm not mistaken, they even had some time to spend outside of that. So I have about a 43 seconds time bank after that, which is pretty impressive. I mean, we're seeing this Reinhardt being used in rather innovative ways as well. And you can see the 90 was Fragi there, but hymzi was immediately on top of AKM up there, even if the Earth Shadow didn't come. Who's not a happy boy? Oh, Dylan. But I mean, this is what you should expect. I mean, he is definitely going to be treated as a priority on this Rogue roster, and you can see that NIP really want to play against that.
He just couldn't see Fragi coming without his glasses.
Oh, he's well tilted about that. It's not even. It's like 2 things you don't talk to him about right now: Korea and his eyesight.
It is unfortunate. I mean, if you want playing at a big LAN, you want to be able to see properly, right? You want your glasses.
Oh, you just don't want to be in a high-performance situation with any kind of handicap. It just make you super mad.
To be fair, though, you really can't tell. AKM has been playing fantastically throughout this tournament. I mean, he's such a consistent high-level player for Rogue. You could almost say that about everybody on their team, but AKM and Soon, I think, in particular, have been standout players across, I don't know, months and months.
And even his positioning, that's the scary part for me. He's always in a spot where you least expect him. Like even Cyclone, who plays dive, where the priorities are either the Zenyatta or even the soldier. Like, AKM barely died first in any of those fights. His positioning is really smart. He comes out at the exact right moment when he knows the fight is going on, and he just cleans up.
Well, now it's time for Rogue to step up to the plate and see what they can deliver as they attack on Hanamura. And of course, this time winz will be back on that Lucio. So no uNKOE, no winz Zenyatta. That's not a thing here. They're going to go a little bit more standard in terms of what we expect from Rogue anyway.
2-2-2 on the defense as well from Ninjas in Pyjamas. See if they can block off the entrance, but Soon's already found his way behind. Discord on him, but that's not going to matter.
Something zappis could not do, by the way. At no stage could zappis actually penetrate this far into the backline of Rogue. You've got cut down every time, so that's something in itself.
They've got so many more players on Rogue that are able to go back and try and deal with him and put damage on him as well. Ninjas in Pyjamas just have to focus on the front line, and focus on keeping the majority of Rogue out, even if Soon's harassing them from the back. So far doing a reasonable job at it as well, but lots of time on the board.
Yeah, I mean, zappis has been on a run right now as well, just pretty much cleaning up that fight. The last 10 seconds was a clean-up. For those of you wondering why uNKOE was waiting, it's because he knew it was done.
I would like to see them discord soon as he goes in, and kynnel just chase him as he did just previously, and try to deny Soon the space he wants.
Pressure him as soon as he shows his head there as well. Don't give him any room to breathe. NiCO! Oh, it's having a bit of an intimate moment with Fragi, I suppose, there as well. He's forced it to charge right on out. Fragi not really interested in getting to know him better. That's a big pulse bomb, though, and the headshot coming out on towards KnOxXx. Zappis doing work.
Zappis is on fire this game, and the previous games.
He's playing great. He's been the flex players so much for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Back when they were playing the triple tank, Zappis was whatever they needed. That's what Zappis would play. But he's never really been like a huge star player. He just had a huge amount of versatility, I think.
He feels like an Emong, you know, it's like a European Emong as well, where he's very much just doing what needs to be done, provide utility and just get involved.
But he's really having a performance today. He's neutralized Soon in a couple of key situations as well, but Soon's on the warpath now.
Well, that's a rare miss with a pulse bomb there, but mafu not really missing anything. It's because he can't, actually. But NiCO doesn't care. He comes through the Dragon Blade. It takes some bravery to look attack visor in the face and still swing for the fence, and he found it. And now zappis in the 1v1. Now it could be a grudge behind this one. He gets absolutely slaughtered. AKM, of course, to be fair, had a Helix rocket. We'll give that to him. A Rogue on the point now to capture.
Here's one of the problems, though, with switching your compositions. If you're not running a comp that you're comfortable on both A and B defense, you have to switch it up. And Zuppehw's made a swap here from the Zen over to the Ana, and that resets the ultimates right back down to 0. Rogue had already invested their support ult from uNKOE as well as the Dragon Blade, so they're not in a snowbally situation too much, but that's definitely an ult that they're going to be aware is missing.
And AKM has the visor here. Let's see if he tries to make a play with it, and if Fragi can find him again with the shatter. That would be great.
We'll see where he tries to set up there. Another pulse bomb foray attempt for zappis, but it doesn't really catch. NiCO took some residual damage from that, but Rogue weren't really invested in that fight, so they just stepped back.
This is also somewhere where Fragi could get massive value out of his shatter as well. It goes down. I don't know how many he quite managed to hit, but it must have been a couple, surely. Saved by the sound barrier, though, it looks like, as Rogue is still turning this one.
Yeah, maybe 2 kill or maybe 2 knockdowns for him on that one at the very least. Zuppehw finds AKM. You see it's a quick duck back to the spawn room for hymzi to make sure he's healthy. He knew that fight was essentially already over and the rest of Rogue had already absconded. Another setup yet again. Self-destruct still in hand, and kynnel does at least have that sound barrier. There was that one nervous fight where
Rogue
had
is
no
about
defensive
to have
ults.
5 ultimates, and kynnel has a sound barrier. Let's see if it uses the sound barrier, the visor, or if they're gonna hide from that, or the blade.
Sound barrier really doesn't give you too much protection as well. Rogue have got to be smart with how they force it out, though. If they put pressure on kynnel, he has to pop it, though. He doesn't want to die.
Dragon Blade going to come through. He might not have a choice in this one sideshow. NiCO, though, again, just question the better part of Valor for a Genji that's on the front lines. He gets behind the pillar. He avoids that self-destruct. So, you know, in turn, nicely done by hymzi to zone out with that move. uNKOE on the high ground, going to use that Transcendence to make sure that AKM is being kept tip-top, but it's the pulse bomb connected on towards uNKOE. zappis looking for more targets there, but he needs to back away from the fight with AKM, who coincidentally has that tack visor. Removing him right now would be massive, but mafu has one of his own. Looking for AKM. Has to hide it for the most part. There's a bubble in his way as well.
They're switching over to the Mei as well, going full stall comp. They've got the nano boost available for them, but they really can't contest the positioning of AKM up top, taking the nano boost as mafu as he's behind the point, seeing if he can get any kills. They're just going for the delay at this point, waiting for their spawners, seeing if they can get one last push onto the point. There's no tank available for Rogue.
I think we're pretty much done here. I think, yeah, it might be these two, and that could be it. Depends how closely together they die. The boot, will that get it done? You better believe it. It's going to be Rogue that get it done with 3 minutes and 34 seconds up their sleeve as the smoke clears.
Fragi was actually trying to deny the soldier high ground, but winz did a great booped him down. And from there, with their comp, it's really hard to get to them. But zappis was trying. He bombed the Zenyatta, he did all he could. But in the end, he cleaned up with the visor, and on top of that, they got the drop to beat. So it was the thought was there, but unfortunately, it didn't get executed.
mafu looked so overwhelmed there towards those final moments when he sort of had that tactical visor,
Yeah.
but he didn't know he could even peek out. There was an AKM up on the other side, there was a Winston in front of him, and he was just sort of not really sure where to put himself.
He doesn't have the health to be able to peek as well. Like if you put it on one of your tanks, or if he was playing another hero with a slightly larger health pool or an ability to defend himself in some way, sure, he can go out and try and do some damage, but He's just a walking target as soon as he pops his head out there. And when NIP were on the attack and posted mafu up on the high ground, it was a snipe helix rocket from AKM, right, that took him out.
Yeah, nutty.
That's just crazy. Like, if you put your soldier up in that position, you don't expect him to get taken
It's like
out.
it's supposed to be your paradise, right? No one can answer you. Their soldier needs to stay on the low ground, and he just laconically flicks a helix rocket and catches him. It's
Yeah, just
so
a
dumb.
direct from the low ground. That's just the level of individual skill that you're dealing with there. To be fair to them, though, NIP have put up a decent attack on Hanamura so far. It looks like an identifiable weakness, perhaps, for Rogue.
NIP out of the gates now as well. They have under a minute remaining. It was a minute max, and that's all they're going to get. Mafu on Zaya. I haven't seen this in ages, actually. It's because he doesn't really play the Tracer at all. So, I mean, zappis and Mafu will both trade that role. But now you can see uNKOE in the backline just churning out that healing as much as he can. And NiCO looking for the off ankle already.
Triple tank, but with the Zenyatta as well. So not as much healing, but lots of shielding. They should potentially take less damage. Might be difficult for Mafu actually to get charge and damage out, though, himself.
Yeah, especially when there's 1 minute left. I don't really know the thought behind Zarya. Maybe they thought they could bubble the D.Va and he could make a play on either the Genji or like the soldier. But let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's 10 seconds left, so there's no choice now. NIP have to stand and deliver, and they've got no ultimates to work with here. Soon's going to have a pulse bomb. He's the first up. NiCO not far away from a Dragon Blade, but Soon finds Fragi now. Now he's going to push for more. There was a shield on towards Zuppehw, but it doesn't matter. He left a little present behind. It was a pulse bomb. 3 kills over the course of that fight, and the Dragon Blade now going to come out. NiCO's looking just to de-suit the D.Va and center. Packing now, looking for the Tracer, and zappis. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Rogue are coming for you. And that's going to be it. Holding them outside of the gate. And now they've got ages to get 1 point, boys.
They've got so much time. It's going to be almost impossible for NIP to full hold point A for, what is it, 3.5 minutes, something like that. Super difficult situation for them, but they kind of set this up based on their attack on the low ground. They didn't even really get time on the point as well, so Rogue, they only have to take a single tick.
I think their thought actually might have been to... They noticed on the first attack they were getting rolled in the low ground when they tried to go behind the point. So they think maybe if we beef up with Zarya, we can save someone with bubble, we can actually get position behind them. But as you could see, Rogue just surrounds them, gives them no space, and they get stuck in the choke.
It's all on the table at the very least. NIP, do you really know what's on the line? If you're just joining us as well, a win here for Rogue doesn't actually finish the series. It could go to 4-0, which well, obviously maybe NIP would rather in the series early if that was going to be the case here, but they have definitely have not been quite up to the standard that Rogue has been producing so far. Love me some artwork. Thanking you. And will we see... No, I don't know if we'll see the Sombra here. I mean, give me some of that. Give me some of that libero play over the top wall, hacking someone in midair. That's what I want.
That'd be so good. You know, Rogue always claimed that they had versatility to their roster, but always chose just to do the triple DPS because it worked for them. It fits their individual talent really well.
I wouldn't be surprised if he picks somewhere. It's really good against NIP's comp.
It definitely... He's
uNKOE
gonna go for it. I think this is a first for him.
uNKOE's playing Tracer as well. I mean, what is life? It's going to be single support and Sombra, which is not so rare in itself. It's just kind of who's playing what that I find crazy. Soon's in though, straight away. Going to go straight forward here. He's going to be looking for kynnel, or at least he just takes note of his position. Doesn't quite get the hack off properly. And uNKOE got caught by mafu as he tried to make his way up. This leaves Soon on his own.
Soon could be an incredible... I mean, he's got the skill set on Tracer to be potentially an incredible, like, aggressive Sombra as well. But the idea here is that he just wants to charge up that EMP, and a single fight is going to get them a tick. Just absolutely. There is no question of it. 3 minutes on the clock. He's already up to 60% as well.
He just got landed on by a monkey and cut in half by a Cyber Ninja all at one time. There's just nothing you can do about that. Soon moved off. Can't save himself with the translocator, though. It's not Unreal Tournament anymore. And uNKOE's going to find the head of Zuppehw, though, as well. Traded back by Fragi. He gets the charge on the big body of Nox, but NiCO's going to go straight towards him here. And this is falling apart. It's a shambles. And then NIP have got no one to blame but themselves. Rogue push straight on through, and they will have this map and make it 3-0.
They saw the soldier behind the rock. They all dived him at the same time.
If any team's going to start, like, getting a bit BM after winning a few games, it's absolutely these guys. Terrible. Let's see how this one plays out, though, as well. Because KnOxXx has said, I can play Reinhardt, I just haven't had to. He did have to learn it for the World Cup when he represented France, by the way. He eventually switched to a flex role on that team, but he did play a lot of it, and he took it quite seriously, that the preparation is. So I wonder what NIP think of this comp, because you don't see Rogue switch gears very often.
You definitely don't. This has got to be thrown a spanner into the works as well, because they've had 3 maps here to figure out the tempo of Rogue and start to adjust their rosters and their playstyle. They're running triple tank into this with Zappis on Tracer, and now they're having to adapt on the fly, and you don't often say that when you're playing against Rogue.
Soon as well, being very mindful of the fact that winz is vulnerable. He saw Zappis zip underneath him and he checked the position of his Zenyatta. Now trying to get a bit of damage in over the top, but he's struggling. Takes a fair bit himself, trusting his healers though to keep him up alive. You can see uNKOE really trying to do the best he can. He gets the headshot on Zappis though as well. That's how you can really break apart this kind of composition with McCree. Flankers beware. The range is on the ride.
Gotta say, Soon and AKM both have kind of similar hero pools, but they're both excellent at those hit scan roles. And Soon, dude used to play for Misfits. He was there, McCree, just partnered up so excellently alongside Tweak, and they just blended those 2 styles together with the full French team. And they've got a ridiculous powerhouse of DPS players, particularly the hit scan with AKM and Soon.
I would like to see an IP switch to a Monkey Genny Tracer right now, because both Sen and McCree is playing on top of gas. It's a really close dive distance, and they might can punish them with that comp.
Yeah, I wonder though, they've been quite, I won't say stubborn, but they've been definitely fixated on having this Reinhardt still a fixture in their team composition. KnOxXx gets battered back a bit, and yeah, he knows he's done. There's no way you come back from that one. Zappis sticks the pulse bomb on him, and he only had 150 HP. Self-destruct comes in, so that Transcendence could be rendered useless if it's on the other side, but AKM's going to be knocked towards the ground, and we know Fragi likes to do this. He likes to accost people, and again, going to give AKM the slapping around with the hammer that he maybe had coming.
Rogue's the second Earth-Shattered Nanovisor.
Yeah, and it seems like he's kind of saving them. He doesn't want to use them against the Rogue comps just to try and get value out of it. He's just saving them for specific circumstances. How did KnOxXx?
Oh, he turned it around. He hit the charge. That was beast. Dude, he was going to go down to the next swing of the hammer. That was sick timing.
If we're doing some kind of tally to see how good KnOxXx is at the Reinhardt, then there you go. There's like 1 point for him. He's playing against a pretty phenomenal one as well.
Normally, Reddit, I don't give you permission, but just run with this. I want to see 3 top page articles, a statistical analysis of Rogue's Reinhardt play in the 10 seconds that we saw it. I want references, I want graphics, I want everything. Kirby's here. He can do it for me as well.
He can. So is Barrow
as well.
Oh, that's right.
Here comes mafu as well with the Graviton. They've built that up. They got the Pulse Bomb as well. Really nice combo that they can use. And Zuppehw's been super fast at charging it. Here comes the Graviton. Only AKM caught though. KnOxXx not even in it just towards the end, but the follow-up is there anyway. I don't know quite how they caught both of the supports in there, but that's well executed. Got to give him credit.
Yeah, I mean, fortuitously as well, KnOxXx was eventually pulled into that Graviton surge, and simultaneously, hymzi was using that self-destruct. So it's very, very hard for the supports on the side of Rogue to sort of know where to stand when that's coming down. They thought they were safe, and then, you know, your Reinhardt gets pulled off the edge there. So they're getting forced back quite a lot here, switching back to something very much more their speed.
That was a fun experiment, says Rogue, but we're back to normal now. Back to your regular programming.
Well, Zappis, though, going to be giving winz a bit of an interruption there as well. His airtime's being cut short on this one. Zappis still on that payload. He's found that Lucio. He's looking for a little bit more, but he's also very cognizant of the fact that there's still a Genji and a Tracer at large on the other side. uNKOE gets taken down, picked up by the Diva, no less, here in the sound barrier, just to make this that much more robust for NIP.
That's working really well. Rogue forced to engage through a really tight choke point. Huge amount of damage done. Mafu's already built a lot of energy from the previous composition and just came rolling into this one, putting out a huge amount of damage from the Zarya. And now they don't have to switch their composition, and they have a perfect one for attacking this final warehouse stage, because the Reinhardt-centric comps are brilliant at the end of Route 66, especially with Mafu already at 60% Graviton.
See if KnOxXx can block the Earth-Shatter here, since Earth-Shatter is so strong at this point. It's all going to come down to this. They're going to build up the Shatter and try to get a big one.
It's going to be hard to avoid it. I think that's the main thing, of course. You're going to have your flankers running essentially freight routes up and down the sides. You can see that's just what happened. You can see both Tracers have found their kills. Fragi deals with Soon. He got a little bit too close for comfort there, but it's a 4v4 situation. Still, NIP happy to push forward. hymzi's found KnOxXx now, and the Transcendent's been drawn out of Rogue. But uNKOE not really getting much value for it there. NIP actually just take the foot off the gas for a moment.
Yeah, that was an odd commitment of the ultimate, actually, because they're not going to get further kills there, I don't think, because Fragi's got his shield up and there's already most of the squishies are dead from NIP. And Rogue weren't at any kind of danger either. Neither team engaged on it, so they've thrown that one.
This is something Lunatic High exploited quite heavily against Rogue, actually, when they were in Korea. It's a slightly predictable use of those defensive ultimates, and they drew them out with, you know, a Dragon Blade or just menacing towards them.
And that's going to be super deadly as well, because now uNKOE doesn't have a Transcendence and Mafu's so close to his Graviton. Again, Fragi, as you were saying, Swoosh, is at 80%, so 2 huge ultimates here.
I mean, you even have a big bang combo potentially coming up there between mafu and zappis. It's just, like, it's going to be so... There's not going to be really many ways to hide here. You can see that Nox goes straight in first. He gets into the backline here, and NiCO hasn't gone for the Dragon Blade. Now he pulls it out. He gets out of the Graviton Surge, but he's got no targets. They're all shielded up or being healed or something else. They're all indisposed, and NiCO disposes of none of them himself. He's forced to back away. Gets nothing for that one. They've lost winz. They've lost soon. uNKOE's falling down. Now NiCO must get back and fortify this position.
Fragi still has the shatter here.
Oh,
Let's see if he can close out the game.
And they've got the sound barrier as well. NoxXx, if he gets caught in it as well and killed before he can use his Primal Rage and try and delay, he's going to pop it out really early. 1,000 health, see if he can batter them back. Still 2 minutes on the clock, though. They could even reset from this fight if Fragi doesn't feel like he's in position.
Oh, that's so big. That's so big. Fragi goes down with that Earth Shatter available. They'd already lost Zuppehw in that fight, so maybe he was happy not to use it at all. But Ninjas and Pyjamas were in pole position there to finish the map. Look where the payload was. They were so close.
Absolutely.
That was really well played. They know that Fragi is looking for that shatter. They send NoxXx, knocking him around. uNKOE is immediately there with a Discord, and soon is just poking him under the shield, and they take him out of the fight really, really quick.
Much more difficult to get value out of his Earth Shatter now as well, because Rogue holding further forwards, and they've got the high ground. So Fragi's going to be pressured hard here.
Fragi the charge, just to try and get out of trouble there as well. He knows he needs to get back with the rest of his team. This is a precious opportunity, but they may only have 1 or 2 fights. That's bad. mafu down, and the D-suit on hymzi. You can't have that happen. Now, the defense matrix potential is not there. What he has to go back to spawn, he needs to just swap off and swap back to D.Va now in his spawn, I suppose. Yeah, no other choice there. I think you lose all of your ult percent you had on the mech when you resuit up. So I don't know how close he was, but it's not going to be a thing now. That hurts. That hurts real bad.
They've still got the ultimates to be able to pull this off. They just haven't been in a position to actually execute it properly. They got one opportunity and Fragi got knocked around by the Primal Rage.
Getting pressured so hard.
40 seconds left.
They're going to focus Fragi here.
He gets the Zenyatta out of the way, though. The Transcendent Zenyatta gets knocked up against the wall. Sure, no damage, but he gets that healing area away from Rogue at the very least. NiCO is down, but so is kynnel now. NIP have an opportunity to press forward now, but uNKOE just won't be messed with. Fragi has died again with his Earth Shatter in hand. You cannot allow this to happen. 15 seconds left and NIP are pushing forward. At least they had the advantage in that fight. At least they have the numbers. They're going to push forward now. 10 seconds remains. This will be into overtime one way or another. But an Earth Shatter is going to be good to deal with the trickle in of stall.
Fragi's going to be able to get back into this fight as well. They got so many clutch kills on Rogue there and soon falls as well. Zuppehw with a headshot. Now Fragi's in position and there's no forwards pressure onto him. The pulse bomb, the frag. Oh, Fragi's getting the kill there onto AKM. They're trying to push this one forward. Only 4.5 meters from the end.
Surely this was possible now. Fragi laying down that Earth Shatter, netted him a kill, and now zappis has a lot of room to work with. Yes, Nox, of course, there's a lot of bluff and blunder on the point. That's all he can do. It is just him trying to swing his fists to keep NIP off this point, but now the sound barrier's got to come out here. AKM benefiting from that one on the D.Va, no less, of course. I mean, why not? Pulse bomb again. Soon has stuck 2 pulse bombs in 2 consecutive fights on 2 supports. That is big to try and shut down NIP, but it may not be enough.
Oh, mafu has to use his tactical visor there. It was the biggest target that they had, and he lights up the kill feed. Everybody dying, only NoxXx left. That's going to be it, surely. They're going to be able to complete it. NIP, that was just their attack, but the tension. This is the last opportunity for them to take a map from Rogue.
Fragi got the ulting soldier there in the back. And
Jesus made us wait for it though, didn't he?
The fight before that, I was saying they were going to focus Fragi. They didn't end up doing that. NiCO went on their soldier with the Dragon Blade. And instead, Rogue said, uNKOE, can you just go and 1v1 Fragi real quick for us?
That's not a thing, Johan. That's not a thing. I mean, why not? Why did it seem like Rogue maybe weren't worried about getting shattered? Why don't they treat him very carefully in that stage of the game?
They went aggro with the Transcendence, and in that chaos, they were looking to get a pick-off, and they managed to get it on the soldier. And I don't know how Fragi ended up in that position. He might have got booped away, or he might have been trying to be a little bit clever and try to hide, because maybe thought they would focus him, and then come back out and try to shatter as well as possible. Either way, it didn't quite work out. They managed to get the ulting soldier in the end, which is a crucial pick-off with a shatter. That's totally worth it. So let's see how they do on the defense there. They're playing the same comp as usual.
It's so funny that like the transition of a Reinhardt player, like what you now had to be satisfied with getting with an Earth Shatter.
Yeah.
The meta changes. You used to be like, yeah, 5-man, big, thick Earth Shatter, carry the game, get my play to game. Now it's like, well, if I get one person, I'm laughing. It's like the transition of Deadeye. It's the same thing.
I mean, if you think about the Reinhardts that we've got in this tournament as well, it's absolutely stacked. You've got Fragi, Reinforce, you've got Kaiser here as well. You've got like Hammers, Christopher.
Can't wait to see the Reinhardt versus Reinhardt.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely huge. But when they're playing against a triple DPS, which a huge amount of teams actually are as well, you know, it's so much more difficult for them to get the power out of their hero that they know they can when they're playing more tanky, or rather Reinhardt compositions.
Rogue now setting up here to go on the attack. They now have a goal. They have a time frame to do it in. They need to finish the map and have a little bit of time left over. Of course, if they have more than a minute remaining at the end of that, they will be able to attack again, and NIP won't be able to. That's important. If Rogue finish with under a minute, then both teams will have time allotted to them after the fact. But Rogue, standard team composition out here now as well. mafu on the 76. Yeah, pretty similar for NIP. This is their 2-2-2 that we've been seeing a lot from them. But kynnel gets picked off very early.
Oh, and another support gone. Zuppehw falls. They're just falling to pieces here. Rogue's target selection is excellent, and they're just able to get into the backlines seemingly at will.
That's so cheeky. They send 3 people through lower tunnel, and they just discord someone who's not necessarily out of position, because you don't expect that. They speed through lower tunnel, they discord someone who's behind gas, and they just jump him, and he's dead.
That was awfully quick.
Yeah.
Somewhat unsatisfying.
It's just, they're just like, where is everybody? So silent.
And winz is just now I get to live my end game fantasy.
Just taking selfies.
That's it.
Tweet
exactly.
them out.
Right, Fragi, a little bit low after the fact. Good lord. He got so low with that transcendence, a discord on him as soon as he rocked up. He was chunked.
And their focus fire is so excellent coming out from Rogue. They create opportunities, windows for themselves that other teams wouldn't be able to create, and then they take advantage of them so well. Rogue are playing fantastically so far this tournament.
And NiCO has a blade here, and Zuppehw is not even close to transcendence. They're gonna hold shows really aggro here, and as soon as they try to commit out, I wouldn't be surprised to see NiCO clean up with a blade.
This is so demoralizing to play against as well. NIP have been locked in the 3rd stage of the map here. They can't even access, I mean, the streets phase, we'll call it at this point now. That's a nice shut down on AK, and the bubble being put down there, but Fragi pays with it for his life. NiCO comes out 2 with 1 slash. NiCO there just making it a very efficient, macabre scene there. The butcher, of course, of France comes through. And Ninjas in Pyjamas, they've already had a breath of fresh air outside of that last phase.
People were wondering about NiCO's LAN performance and just thinking, you know, was his performance in Apex just indicative of some kind of choke? Was he not able to adjust to the LAN environment? He is turning up here at TakeOver 2.
He's playing it really, really well.
That's it, winz. That's it.
You push that payload.
Maybe I should check my Twitter and see if there's a new post.
Yeah, you get on that payload, son. Right. The rest of Rogue going to set up outside. Okay, Fragi seems to be on his own here and almost got bursted down, but at least there was a follow-up there from zappis. I didn't see him on screen right then. Transcendence also came out pretty quickly. NIP have lost so much of this second phase now that they have to go big in this fight. But there it is, NiCO again. He turns on a Fragi. You saw Soon just pick off Zuppehw. He can't get any freedom away from this tracer. Soon is laser, pinpoint focused on removing the supports from the fights here, and NIP, they don't even get a say in the matter.
It's so rough. They pressure them so hard, so Zuppehw is forced to use the ultimate just to get out of the choke, to get on the payload. And that's...
Yeah, just to play the game. You had to press Q to play Overwatch. That's what it means right now.
There is a silver lining here, and that's that NIP are entering the warehouse section. There's 5 minutes on the clock, but this should be the area of the map that favors them the most when they're playing defensively. Fragi's getting a couple of picks, but I expect him, maybe after they've used the Primal Rage and played super aggressively, to switch over to a Reinhardt comp and try and play this a bit more like the classic NIP style. But Rogue should find it slightly more difficult to get through warehouse. Having said that, they have found no difficulty so far.
NIP have a decent amount of ultimates, because you know what happens, even if you don't do damage in this game, you get ultimates over time. So NIP sat inside this warehouse, just got their ultimates now ready for the last phase. So it kind of works in their favor. Rogue, though, have them as well, and they probably guarded them from different measures here. All the 3 DPS players have them available, and we know they just use them whenever they want.
Really aggressive positioning at the moment from NIP. I think they want to get value out of their ults before they switch over, but there's NiCO straight into the back. They're going to force out the sound barrier straight away. That's decent value for the Dragon Blade, even if he doesn't get the kill.
Yeah, that's right. mafu's able at least to break back here as well, but note that there were multiple ultimates forced out of NIP. mafu was hurriedly going towards his heavy pulse rifle just to bring out the attack visor as well, but it may not have worked out because AKM and NiCO were here to clean up the fight. Oh, he caught Zuppehw on the way down. That's disgusting. He says he feels like he's tracking his bad today, but there was nothing the Omnic Monk could have done.
Now they've switched over to the Reinhardt composition, but it might have been too little too late. Fragi stayed on the Winston, and they kind of opened the door for them. A couple of trickle kills towards the end from AKM, and now they're so close.
This could be it as well. uNKOE, look at how much space he's got to go with. That could be a bit nasty. Good bubble, though, placed over the top. However, zappis and mafu both finding their kills. uNKOE having to go for the Transcendence a little bit late in the piece, and yeah, this is done. They're going to back away there. They lost too much far too quickly. NIP, it was a precision strike to the heart, and it managed to stop Rogue in their tracks.
Now they can start to push up that defense as well, see if they can get a bit more value out of it. They only have the single ultimate, but there really aren't that many up from Rogue. The difficulty here for the Ninjas in Pyjamas is that there's 3 minutes left on the clock. They've managed to hold it for 2 so far, so you need to do the exact same plus a little bit.
If Zuppehw managed to not use his Transcendence this fight and they win a white fight, I think that would be 2 minutes of the clock, because he's going to have it for either the blade or the visor.
Now, that's what we call fights where no ultimates are used, yes?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
there you go, got one fight. Right, so Zuppehw off towards the side now as well. Transcendence. Okay, he brings that one out here, but I don't really know what Rogue have done to provoke this to a degree. Still, NRP don't lose the fight out. The Transcendence could even have been kept potentially there, like you mentioned, Swish, but it comes out, it's for safety and it works. So Rogue now with 2 minutes and 30 to go.
Rogue is going to be really happy about that.
They do have the sound barrier coming up fairly shortly. It might even be active in the middle of the next fight. If they can get a pick with Zappis and possibly have Mafu's tactical visor position somewhere decent, then they might get value out of this one, but kynnel needs to charge the sound barrier.
93% counting. Keep an eye on that one. Now is NIP high ground. You can see Mafu's got 2 layers of defense between him and the very scary Rogue French guys. Of course, it's not going to help if a Discord gets attached to him outside of the shield. He has to go low ground, by the way. That's not ideal. Mafu has to give up that positioning, and AKM shuts him down. We've seen this happen multiple times this series. Again, he gets the better of his opposite number. 76 is AKM right now. He still has attack visor. Self-destruct in over the top of Rogue. Too nifty. They're going to be able to nimbly get out of the way of that one here. They've drawn out ults. They've gotten kills, and now they want to keep fighting.
Both teams still in control of their sound barriers so far. Both kynnel and winz chose not to invest them in that fight. Both poking the other, seeing if they could force it out. So, stick into the back lines. Oh, it does catch Zuppehw without actually sticking to him. Soon's accuracy has been ridiculous, and now both sound barriers used.
And yeah, it's forced the sound barrier out of kynnel. He had to go for it. Rogue can respond. They're more than happy. They use the second one. Nox finds Fragi. Fragi did fire the charge on towards winz, and Mafu's in the high ground position. He can do a lot from here, and he does. He also finds uNKOE. He's still at large. Mafu's still a free man. Zappis also walks for the moment, but soon eventually finds him with a headshot. That payload sailing close. You can see the yellow box of victory is just there. Now Rogue just trying to get it done. Nox coming forward, but realizes that even with this, there's no point dragging this out further. He wants to stay alive and come back with his team. Now, both teams will get an extension of time if Rogue finish within the allotted amount.
That was so clutch from Mafu. He realized the monkey was dead, so he could take high ground for free, and he just peppered down 2 targets, and from there they won the fight.
NIP have been so good in this warehouse stage as well. It's really suited them. From that aggressive defense where they shaved off 2 minutes and used ultimates on both sides, and now they've been able to clutch it towards the end, but this is crunch time.
It's Dragon Blade time as well, I think, and you better believe it. NiCO going to bring it out. There's a Transcendence to contend with again and needs to reassess his situation. Survey the battlefield once again. And a bit of a slash over towards the head of a Transcendencing Zuppehw. It's not going to get him too much. 12 seconds remaining now. Soon comes in with a pulse bomb. A little bit of damage. We saw the hit marker, but nothing more than that. The payload needs to get there, and this might be a decent start for Rogue. Soon finds Fragi. The big tank is down, and uNKOE's going to be more than happy to come forward with that Transcendence and try and get this done.
Mafu as well with a tactical visor, but it's all getting eaten up. Apart from that last kill, Soon falls. That's a lot of damage being taken out of the situation, and these spawners are coming in thick and fast.
Oh my lord, AKM! It's an air shot on towards kynnel there with a pulse rocket. Rogue will not be stopped here. They're in overtime, but they're going to push forward either way. It's the difference between winning and losing this map. They must finish it, otherwise it's a 3-1. They're going to lose the map there. We do going to see the sound barrier come out, and self-destruct out towards the back, but the bubble held just long enough. hymzi gets desuited as soon as he resuits. AKM gets him straight out of that one and then finishes him off, but NIP are not done yet. Sound barrier from kynnel, but that's all he can do. A triumphant yell, but no, Rogue get it done. Both teams absolutely neck and neck. They both finish the map in overtime, and when the music cuts out and I'm yelling, it sounds like I'm really being melodramatic, guys.
And Fragi was getting really close to the air shatter there. That could have been a difference maker, but he died, unfortunately. And 3 more hammer swings, and he would have had the shatter, and that could have changed the fight.
That was so close for NIP, but they just started losing people as well. And as soon as you lose the people who are going to be delaying it the most out from NIP, and it's just hymzi alive towards the end. and he's just throwing the self-destruct on and then resuiting himself.
Yeah.
But you know that he's going to die and only buy time for a couple of spawners. And it's long gone past then, because nobody in Rogue is even in danger of dying themselves. They're just spread out, applying the pressure. But it was a very admirable attempt from NIP. They shaved off 5 minutes there.
Yeah, I mean, you said the silver lining was there. You know, Rogue were just hurtling towards the end of the map at breakneck speed, but NIP really found their footing here. I am concerned about this first point, though. I really think Rogue have been a cut above, both on attack and defense of this part of the map.
And Rogue decided not to bring out the McCree this time.
Yeah, that comp didn't work too well for them. They kind of fell apart in a couple of fights, but NIP will be wishing that the warehouse section was the bit that opened the map rather than
They're looking
closed
to
it.
full them here, right in the beginning. If they win the first fight, it's possible.
All right, well, set your clocks and make sure your dreams are all in line. NIP now, it's their time to try and come forth here and see what they can post. Ultimately, they probably won't finish the map, but it's as far as they can get. But Rogue don't care. They're going to get in their face. Soon they're getting... Oh, no. Oh, that's not good. Fragi having a snooze on the job. Probably the worst time it could be happening. Desperately, hymzi trying to protect him. It actually works out. All this focus on towards Fragi allows NIP to pick off the rest of these Rogue attackers.
Yeah, NIP just picking up the kill after kill. I don't really know how they managed to do that one. I think they were just spread out over the wrong side of those cargo.
All we saw was people diving Fragi, so I wasn't really sure.
AKM was trying to do a play by rocket jumping up on the train, but he got discorded and punished by zappis Tracer immediately.
And now it's not a good situation for Rogue. They have to re-engage in. They were hoping to hold them really early on, and every meter gained is fantastic for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
AKM coming forward now. Yeah, overtime is about to hit in here, and all Rogue need to do is wipe them off the face of the payload and ultimately of the map. And NiCO starts well. 2 kills come out from him, and now NoxXx is going to jump in. He's a secondary engagement in this situation. That's not a bad thing, but he gets hit by a pulse bomb. zappis drops it down. Didn't stick it, I don't think, but AKM's there. On the payload is hymzi. He's beleaguered, surrounded on all sides, and NiCO just dashes through him. The reflect, that's nasty in a Dragon Blade. Why not finish it in style? Cuts the cake, and he cuts Ninjas to the quick. They're not going to get any more points in this map.
That's the problem with the tank comp. You saw what happened there. Their Soldier and their Zenyatta, uNKOE and AKM came for free through the high ground and went to the gas station. And mafu and Zuppehw had no idea they were there. And mafu got insta-discorded, Helix rocket, and he just died. If they have any kind of scout there, so they can react in time and position differently, they could have won the fight, because mafu was getting close to our visor as well.
Fragi switched off the Reinhardt right at the beginning as well. As soon as they rounded the bend, he switched onto the Winston, and they really didn't get too much done with it. He kind of looks personally a little shaky on the hero whenever we've seen him. It seems like it's a bit of a newer pick, perhaps. He is obviously renowned as a Reinhardt, but their compositions do look weaker when they go for that.
It's funny, the juxtaposition between KnOxXx, who's a fantastic Winston player and maybe not a confident Reinhardt, and then you've got Fragi, who's a fantastic Reinhardt player and maybe not a confident Winston.
Yeah. But, I mean, the rest of the team and the meta at the moment plays so much better around KnOxXx's Winston that it's making a pretty big difference overall. Fragi's struggled on both of his choices, not through lack of individual talent, but the pressure being applied onto him has been obscene at times. And now NRP have got a bit of a task. They have to try and lock Rogue out. And, I mean, in a minute, it was about a checkpoint 2 beforehand for Rogue.
Yeah, it's guts or glory now. Rogue now know what they need to do. They've got a minute to work with. And again, NIP want to try and defend close. They were the masters at really getting up in your face and using these close chokes back in the triple tank meta. But it's going to be much harder now. NiCO takes a bit of damage early on here. NIP essentially unscathed for the most part. Very much just posturing and trying to trade some aggression over this payload.
Look for Fragi and hymzi to switch places on payload here. Here comes Fragi, and Mafu is going to go in when he jumps out. This is really good.
Oh, that's really clever. You can actually see them switching out as they go. I wouldn't have noticed that actually if I hadn't brought it up. AKM hits a rocket on towards Fragi. Now look at this, already 25 seconds. This forward defense hold has actually been working really well from NIP. That's the headshot though. That could be nasty. NiCO reflecting. And now Rogue pretty much have one more fight. AKM and Soon need to get back. They're going to be in overtime. They're close. It's going to have to be going off with a bang.
Yeah, that was fight here. Let's see if we can get a repeat with Mafu and Zuppehw, maybe trying to get a pick off on their soldier. Just rushing gas, Try to get a good bionic grenade.
Zappis has to not die as well, because as soon as he died at the beginning of that fight, it was disastrous for them. Fragi and hymzi just couldn't rotate the car enough.
Transcendence there, hastily brought out by uNKOE. As soon as he saw Fragi actually getting the nano boost, he brings it out, and that's beautiful stuff. Fragi, even with the nano boost, can't actually burst anyone down. He can't get the damage done. In fact, now, changing targets. The problem is Fragi's losing teammates, though. He's lost himself. Mafu and Zuppehw went down. NiCO with the Dragon Blade now, but what can he do? He's getting booped around. winz finds kynnel. NiCO tries to reflect as much as he can. Finds zappis with the pulse bomb. Straight back in his face. He may as well stick it to his cheek and be done. Nicely done for Rogue. They're going to push through in a bit of BM there as the egg is on zappis' face.
That was insane. That was a game of milliseconds. Mafu had just got his visor, but NiCO got his Dragon Blade.